I don't know if this is problematic, but when I was younger, I always dated people with massive dicks.
So
problematic.
Oh, just wait. Welcome back to None of My Business. I'm your host, Sophia Benoit, and this is my co-host, Kelsey June Jensen.
Hi.
And this week we have a very special guest, stand-up comedian and author of her debut novel, First Time, Long Time, Amy Silverberg.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being so much for being here. We are going to be sharing somebody's business today. This person's name is Sawyer, not their real name. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give you this envelope, but you don't need to open it yet. We'll get to it. Because before we get into this person's business, we're going to get into yours.
Oh, great.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
So our first question, what's your relationship status?
My relationship status is I have a long-term boyfriend, about 6 years.
Ooh.
6 years, yeah. But the kooky thing is we don't live together.
I was hoping you would bring this up because
Really?
I remember the last time I had coffee with you and you're like, yeah, we've been dating for a while. We don't live together.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
That's always the question.
Yeah, it's me. I mean, the call's coming from inside the one bedroom, where I live. He would like to live together and have all the traditional stuff, I think. I have never lived with anyone. I'm like
roommate or
no,
like a partner?
Like a partner.
Okay,
I've had roommates. I grew up in like a crowded house. Like my dad talking to me through the bathroom door, saw my dad naked 5 million times, could draw him. Yeah. And I just I have a weird thing with, I think I have now a big kind of fear about it. And we get along so well. I'm just like, is this so bad? He keeps moving closer to me.
Oh,
he's maybe buying houses closer.
Buying next door.
And I'm fucking annoying. I threaten to leave him for a woman all the time, which of course is
keep him on his toes.
Kind of classic.
I think it's like a really good thing for men to be aware of at this stage of where we're at, to just be like, and women are an option.
Right, of course. And he is he's the best person. But I think there's still something in me that's afraid forever.
Yeah,
and
totally.
Yeah.
And that living with someone would mean that it sounds to me like marriage. Like moving in together seems the same as marriage. Do you both live with
I live with my boyfriend, but I feel the same way about marriage because he and I have been together for 10 years. And to me, I'm like, if I get married to him, the next step is like death.
And I have a history of staying too long in relationships.
Yeah.
Like I have a joke where I talk about with an ex, I had written a pros and cons list, which is always a bad sign when you're doing homework.
You never write a pros and cons list about a great relationship.
And in this pros and cons list, the pros were like funny, cute, and the cons were like, I have a sinking feeling in my chest when I'm around him.
Yes. I still have a pros and cons list in my notes, and it's like in a special folder. I found it the other day, and the cons were so long and
one
so
of the cons
bad.
was I longed for something else.
Okay.
And I would lay next to this person, and my heart would be pounding, and I still dated him for like 2 more years. Great guy.
You had poetry on the con side, and then on the pro side, it's like funny, and you're like
funny, cute.
I feel like my heart is being trampled and my spirit is dying.
And so I just have a hard. I don't know if that's a girl thing or an everyone thing of having a hard time getting out of things. And somehow I feel like once I live with someone, it's like I'm in an arranged marriage, which I know is not true. And
I get it.
I totally understand that. I do think that to me, I still do have in the back of I don't feel any of what I felt at the early stages of our relationship, but early on, I had this horror that if we need to break up, now not only do I have to break up with you, I have to move.
I also have lived in the same apartment for 10. I get an incredible deal. I could never find it again.
You can't
don't
move
move in with him. He can
you
move
can't
wherever.
Do that.
He can go
unless
move
you're
around.
in a gold mine.
And he makes a lot more money than me. So I'm just you're,
okay.
My apartment it's my apartment. It's the first place I ever lived in by myself.
Until he's like, I have a villa in Tuscany. Let's we're good.
And I just hear about old people who live separately and they're so happy.
That's my dream. Even if I'm together, married to them, they have to be in a duplex next door.
Yes,
that's really sweet. One door that connects it.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
A hotel.
A lot of my friends are like, you gotta get married. You gotta live with him. All I hear you do is complain about your husband's dirty socks.
Yeah, no, ew. Don't mess up your bed, your personal space. Yeah, no.
It's like the way some people explain marriage and they're acting like they go into the mine every day. They're like, join me. It's the hardest job I've ever had. It's like, why are you saying want to do it. And why are you covered in grease?
I'm like, why?
Take a shower.
I get it.
I'm like, I don't want the hardest job.
Yeah, I also feel like there's like a superstitious part of me that's like, as soon as I make a next step, because I'm so happy that like as soon as I make a next step, it's like that's going to be the thing where I'm like, oh, if I hadn't done that, we were fine.
I had a lot of and weren't your parents married?
Oh my God, they've been married each 4 times. Like I don't get the marriage part of it is just like, who cares?
My parents have been married a long time, but it's great marriage for my dad.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't know where the forks are. Like my mom does everything for him, and my mom made the money. I'm like, what was Larry up to?
Oh, Larry's chilling.
Larry's chilling. Larry couldn't have an affair. He'd have to ask my mom where to go and what to say.
Wow.
I was like, what is Larry? So that's my other fear too. Is like, God, you marry a man and then life.
You're like a babysitter.
Yeah.
And they want a mommy. They all do.
Right. And I can barely mommy myself. Like I need a mommy.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I know it's like such a trite joke, but there's so much stuff where I'm like, having a wife would be banging. Like that sounds amazing.
Totally.
Yeah.
And having a husband's like, that's a burden. No, thank you.
Right.
Yeah. Protect your peace.
Yeah,
this sounds great. This sounds really good. I think you should be like,
I'm sure he's a great guy, but
he is a great guy.
Space.
Great guy.
Yeah,
like you should be doing seminars.
Everybody email me at bigjugsrule@gmail.com. I can't believe I said my email aloud.
We can bleep that, but I don't. When
I said it on another podcast and women were sending me their boobs. I was like, this rules.
Wait, is that your actual email?
Yes. When I gave you the directions for today, I said, oh, what's your email? And then the text came in, unfortunately, new text. bigjugsrule@gmail.com.
It's not my only email, but it's the one I use for.
Wait, I love that.
And big jugs do rule. And also,
no one can argue with that.
No one can argue with that. That one's like, even no matter what your sexuality is, big jugs do rule. And when I told my boyfriend Dave, as soon as I got that text message, I was like, oh my God, bigjugsrule@gmail.com. And we both were like, she had to get that so early.
You know what?
That's
it's
awesome.
not that old of an email address.
What?
Yeah.
Big Jugs Rule was just waiting?
Yes.
Wait, when did you? How long did you have this email?
Not that long ago. Like
I'm freaking out.
3-4 years.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God.
This really goes to
Every
show.
now and then you get lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Because in my head, I was like, wait, maybe I should go back and get my old email address, which was Horse Whisperer. So I was like, oh, you must have Horse Whisperer 2.
See, there was a Horse Whisperer 1.
Yeah. Well, my dad chose it. And I remember as he was typing it, I was like, 2? But so I don't even know if there was a 1, but that's making me want it.
You have a sweet dad.
Super sweet.
Were you a horse girl?
Major.
We both were.
Yeah.
You
so
both
Sophia.
were horse girls.
Yeah.
I like that
Big
about
time.
you guys.
Thank you so much.
Nice.
It's like the original, like kind of like girl vibe, where you're just like, they don't have much male attention. You know?
Yeah,
like,
yeah. I
they're
can
not
name
really-
all the horses.
You're like a pick me for the horses. You're like, I
Basically.
hope the horses
literally.
pick me.
Yes.
They're
Yes.
like, yeah. Kind of competitive around the barn.
Honestly, I would have been. If I was in a barn, I would have been like, and that girl's like an Arabian. I'd get bitchy with the girls in the barn.
Same. There was this like meme going around that like 900 people have sent me and shared about like avoiding barn drama.
Yeah.
And it's been just going viral because everyone thinks it's so funny. And it's all about how to, like, if you're in a horse barn, like, avoid drama.
Yeah.
And so many normal people that aren't horse girls have been posting it. And in my head, I was like, this is actually kind of important.
No, there was one rule that was so funny. Like, avoid negative barn talk or something.
Yeah.
And we were
What
like,
is the barn drama? It's just like
who rode a horse without putting their tack away? Like, like takes
brushing their horses first.
Yeah, or takes, like, the good hooks in the
Isn't it interesting to think about, like, in every industry, there is, like, gossip and hierarchy.
Yes.
And in every industry, there's someone being like, that person's a hack.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was in a coffee shop. I was overhearing 2 magicians shit talk other magicians.
What?
Yes.
What?
And this
like,
magician was like, I can't believe like he's on the main stage of the Magic Castle.
What?
He can't even do a basic rope trick.
He's like, he doesn't even own doves.
Like,
who does he think he is?
And then they had their own sort of like version of misogyny too, where the guy goes, and you know how she dresses. Like she's getting, she's a sexy magician and she's getting. I was like, damn.
This is crazy. I would love to get into on the magician
on the magician gossip. Yeah.
So funny.
I hope there's like a magician podcast out there that's like diving into that.
I know.
If there is, send it our way.
Kiss Angel, we need you.
Please.
I love magic. It's
I
one
do
of
too.
the, yeah.
I think it's coming back. I feel like a lot of people have been talking about how they like it. Like
Resurgence.
Zayn Malik was like, oh, I love magic. And I was like, I think this is coming back.
It's coming back.
I feel like
I've
it's
been
never
waiting.
left.
I don't think it's left, but I also think that like where we are right now with like AI and the world and like the world getting bad, I think people
Let me see some close-up magic in the hands.
Yeah. I think
right
they're gonna want some miracles.
Yeah.
Oh, I love magic.
And I really do think like, yeah.
No, but for
Penn and Teller, my
People
miracle
talk
workers.
about magicians being like nerdy, and I'm like, I feel that if a guy took a coin out of my ear
You were going to say pussy, and that's okay.
That'd be fine.
Yeah, but I would be so much more interested in like going home with him than if he just had like swagger. It's like that's the ultimate swagger.
No, I
taking
know.
a coin out of your ear.
That's so funny.
Oh my God.
Are you ready to share some more business?
Please.
But of somebody else's this time. You can go ahead and open your envelope, and we are going to be learning about Sawyer, not the real name.
This is a good quality envelope. What do you go to, FedEx Kinko's?
We go to our producer's house, and he has to print these out the night before.
These are nice.
Yeah.
Shout out, Justin.
Shout out. I just read the first one, right?
I'm going to read this first one, actually.
Okay.
And to give you a little bit of background about Sawyer. So Sawyer is 33. They use they, them pronouns, and they identify as bisexual. Although they said they used to identify as bisexual, really. And now they say they don't know if that's really true because they can't picture fucking a cishet man again. Quote, maybe a trans man, maybe a non-binary person who was assigned male at birth. But they basically were just like, can't imagine that.
Okay.
So, which I just want you to keep in mind as we read these stories coming up.
Okay.
There's a lot. The weirdest place they've had sex is a butcher shop. And my first question was, with the butcher? No.
What?
Nope. Not with the butcher.
With who? Do we know? The animal.
There's a connection later, but it's really offhanded. But I'll let you know when we get to the butcher shop
Okay.
sex part.
Okay.
And their last fun fact before we get into the rest of their business is that they were formerly poly, but they said, I have found that I do not have the capacity for that.
Oh my God.
Who could not relate to that?
Truly.
You know, I'd never tried it, but it sounds exhausting.
Oh,
1,000,000%. And that is what Sawyer said. Sawyer was like, I just, like, I could do it, but that's too much work.
I feel like I would need to be like a Nepo baby or like some sort, just have
where
like
you don't have a
expendable-
job.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And
Such a
that
good
would be my
point.
job.
It is like a job. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
full
that's really true.
I appreciate about Sawyer. I like this idea always of being open to your sexuality changing, you know, and that you can kind of decide later of like, oh, I gotta amend that. Yeah, I gotta edit that.
Also, Sawyer and I had like an interesting talk about the concept of like, as a non-binary person, it's even harder to pick a word that identifies you because already so much of sexual orientation is like predicated on the idea that you're a specific binary gender. So like if you're gay, it kind of presumes that I'm a man and I like men. And so like if you are non-binary, there's all these words that are like, that's not exactly the fit. You know, like, how do I explain?
Yeah.
Anyway, we talked a lot about the limitations of language.
And the limitations of category.
Yes.
Too.
Yeah. Like if two straight people don't have the same sexuality.
Right.
You know, like they don't like the same people. So it's like it's already very limiting.
And I'm always, having this conversation of like, I'm bisexual, but I don't say it often because I'm in a relationship with a man. And that there's something, it always feels like you're kind of like trying to get your mom's attention as a kid.
Yes.
Like, mom, look. And she's like busy on the phone. She's like, I'm like, just jump in the pool.
Great.
Like,
Go do
that's
that.
how it feels to try. So it's, I just think also people's sexuality changes where they are in life and where they are in terms of their own context and openness. And, I think I'm a millennial that grew up around a lot of like Christian right-wing people. And I think there are things that maybe in my age group that you weren't even allowed to kind of think through.
Yes. Yeah. No one was even being like, hey, this is an option if you're interested in exploring it.
Right.
Yeah. It's always evolving.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start asking questions. As we've said before, interrupt anytime. You are going to be playing Sawyer today. So first things first, what was the first time you had sex like?
My first sexual experience was not penetrative. I was dating a guy from church.
Okay.
Woof.
And my best friend was dating his brother. My first sexual experiences were very much all of us in the same room.
Oh, uh-oh.
I think this is so, for me as a girl, and I was in a sorority, it's so, that my first sexual experiences, I remember it mattered so much to me what my friends thought.
Really?
And like if they were nearby.
Really?
And I just think it was so, I had very close female friendships like growing up, and probably also I was like a little in love with my friends too. And that's like so sort of communal of like, I'm going to date this guy and you're going to date his friend and we're going to make out in the same room. And
this is what
even in college, like fucking guys in the same, like now to think of it, it's like creepy, but we lived in a tiny house, a tiny room in a sorority house. And
this is exactly what Sawyer was like. As I've gotten older, so many people have been like, oh yeah, I like gave blowjobs to somebody while other people were in the same room. And I will say they agreed with me that there's a little bit of a difference between two guys are in the same room getting blowjobs and two brothers are in the same room getting blowjobs.
Yeah.
That does add a little bit of a layer.
Sure, White Lotus.
Like, it's a little unusual.
Right.
I mean,
mine wasn't even necessarily like people in the same room. Just this idea that I remembered at that time in my life, it was so crucial to me what my female friends thought of any guy I liked.
Oh,
like that was
totally.
part of the
Absolutely.
attraction.
Yeah.
Or part of the not attraction.
Oh,
You
yes.
know?
1,000,000%.
I had a best friend like that, and we would like plan out who we were gonna date in like middle school and high school together. We would be like, okay, and then you date him, and then
and this idea of like, well, can this guy hang with my friends? You know, because in high school, that's
your whole social scene.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so was it good?
Yeah, actually, it was all very positive experiences. We really wanted to have penetrative sex at some point, but it was one of those things where I knew my mom was going to lecture me about birth control, and I was really paranoid about getting pregnant, which is going to be hilarious once I tell you the story about penetrative sex.
Okay.
Did your moms have normal reactions to sex?
Oh my God, my mom was so cool about it. My mom was like, when I was probably like 7, my mom was like, I think my sister or I had asked, like, how's the baby made? My mom was very, like, matter of fact. And then when we got older, she was like, if you want to get on birth control, that's great. I'll help you do that. Like, I want you to be safe. And she was very chill.
No, we just never really talked about it. And then there was one time we were driving, I'll remember, this was like the closest we got to talking about sex, is all of a sudden out of nowhere, my mom was driving. She's like, don't get pregnant. And if you do, just don't. And I was like, okay. Okay. And she's like, use condoms. And then that was it. That was it.
I could just picture your mom on the highway, like taking an exit kind of like fast.
We were like on our way home from the grocery store. And then all of a sudden I was like,
were your parents cool?
My mom's like a hippie feminist.
Yeah,
and she was like, don't wait until marriage to have sex. Like, that's so weird. And then she goes, you don't even have to wait until you're in love. Just try to sleep with someone who respects you.
Wow.
Yeah, my
I think
mom
it's
was very much like,
that's so nice.
And then I waited till I was like 18 to lose my virginity. I think that something about my mom's coolness made it not so.
Yeah, you're like, okay.
So good. I was like only giving hand jobs. I was like got very comfortable with just hand jobs.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you get good at something.
It's an easy place to be.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like staring in the eye of the dick, like getting so good at something no one wants.
I know.
It's like writing fiction. Okay.
Oh, depressing. So with the penetrative sex, was it with him?
No, but not for a lack of me wanting to. I'd built up having penetrative sex so much in my head, thinking it had to be special. So despite giving him a blowjob in front of my best friend, I was not willing to have penetrative sex in front of my friend. I wanted that to just be us. But he shared a room with his brother, and they were super poor, and their dad was in jail, and their mom was really Christian.
Oh.
But also, she was deaf, so she couldn't hear us hooking up. But we could always hear her coming because she had a prosthetic leg, and we could hear it coming up the stairs.
Oh my God.
The most perfect person to be hooking up in their house and trying to get away with it, because she can't hear you very well, but you can hear her perfectly. Like, kind of great.
This is like a Flannery O'Connor short story.
Yeah, exactly. It is,
Oh my God.
She'd check on us a lot and bust the door open and be like, what are you guys doing under the covers? And we'd be like, watching a movie. And between that and his brother being around all the time and us not having condoms, we never had sex despite dating for a year.
She like really wanted to too. She kept like,
wait, but
sorry.
the best friend and the brother were hooking up at the same time with them in the same room sometimes, or no?
Sometimes the best friend and the brother were hooking up in the same room.
It's so
sometimes.
crazy. Wow.
But
okay.
Sawyer also said that they were like, they would be under the covers, and Sawyer was like, I wanted to hook up, like I would have liked to, but then we knew that his mom was like gonna bust down the door, so there was never really opportunity.
But you could hear the leg coming.
Yeah,
yes,
so
there just
the
was like
coming.
Yeah.
It
just
How
never
old
happened.
were you guys when you lost your virginity?
I was 18.
18.
I was 18 too. Look at us.
Yeah.
We're
It felt
waiting till
so
we're
old.
legal.
Shoot.
I know. It felt so
know.
old at the time, and now I'm like, that's fine.
I remember I
Yes.
did a lot of wild moaning, you know, because I had seen porn.
Oh,
And I was
yeah.
like, it's time to really turn it on.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I was like not even touching me. And I was like, ah.
No, he was just
So
looking at me and I was
crazy.
like, ah.
Yeah. Now to think about it.
I know.
I had like done so little before sex. Like I had not been like hooking up with anybody. So I did not know what I was doing. But also in a somewhat similar to Sawyer's story, I went over to his house and he had like a bedroom with a big TV, and he lived with his mom and grandma, and his grandma was home and she had like an oxygen tank and was like very frail. And so I remember walking past her to go have sex in his room while Storage Wars played for the first time. Yeah, pretty hot. And then like leaving like my walk of shame past his grandma in her like with her oxygen tank. I remember being like, this is
When you see an oxygen tank now, do you get turned on?
if the sex with him had been good, I think yes. I think I would have been like, can't deny it.
Don't get Sophia in an old folks home.
Yeah,
she can't go.
I gotta go find a place to fuck.
Don't visit
Someone put
grandma.
Storage Wars
It's
on?
crazy how those things stick in your mind forever. Of,
Yeah.
like
Forever.
Storage Wars, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the penetrative sex story?
The two brothers were also friends with this other guy, Sonny, and we were all in the same friend group. They were all homeschooled and I wasn't.
Oh, brother. Okay.
Yep.
A few years after the blowjob brothers guy and I broke up, I had penetrative sex for the first time with Sonny, and I got pregnant the first time I had sex. Good Lord.
Oh my
Jesus
God.
Cristo. And I had the kid who is now 15.
What?
Yep. This is like the
Oh my God.
the only response to her, like their story of they got pregnant the first time was, you got pregnant the first time you had penetrative sex, because what?
Yeah.
That's like what your mom warned you about, but that you think never happened.
And the reason they were so worried about using condoms and everything beforehand.
Yes. That is so scary. I'd freak out.
Yeah.
And she was, I'm sorry, they were how old at this point?
They were 17, I think.
17. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, I have dreams now of getting pregnant, and I'm in my 30s and calling my mom and saying, Mom, I'm a pregnant teen. And my mom going, you're an adult woman. It's like a recurring
No, I have a
dream.
nightmare that I'm pregnant.
Yes,
It is like an actual nightmare. And I wake up, I'm like, we're okay.
Same.
Just breathe.
Same.
Like, actually. And I'm like, ooh.
Also, like, I live in California. I could, you know, like I have some recourse. And I still am like, oh my God.
Right.
No, it's more like I have to reflect, like, why am I so scared of this? And it's an actual nightmare that I'm pregnant.
Correct. Okay, so you got pregnant the first time you had penetrative sex.
Yes, we used a condom, and I was on birth control.
What?
And I took Plan B, and I still somehow got pregnant. Sawyer was so fertile.
Yeah.
At this time, I guess 17 is like when they.
I guess.
The condom broke, and I hadn't been on birth control long enough. Oh, it had only been a few days, and it takes a bit to kick in. But how would you know that at 17? And I thought I was covered, but I took a Plan B because the condom broke. I used to take Plan B in college as though it was Plan A. And it turns out Plan B is not as effective if you weigh over 150 pounds.
It isn't.
Yes. I just learned that. Like,
Yes.
in the past couple years. Yeah.
Yes.
They
Sawyer
don't
also just
say
learned that in the
that.
last couple of years, because Sawyer like volunteers for a birth control and abortion access clinic, and they were saying that they just found this out, and they were like, oh, well, that makes sense why I have a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
You
We
know?
need to talk about that more.
They need to put it outside the box.
Yes.
All over the box, and
I
just
think
say,
they really do, because I found it. I looked on the box and it says very small, because I was looking.
yeah, it's like on the 5th page of the paper.
Yeah, it's
in
like,
like
oh, by
another
the way,
language.
by the way,
Yeah. All right. So this next section just called "Ooh, baby, baby." What happened with the pregnancy?
I grew up really Christian,
Okay.
and not just because my parents were. In high school, my mom stopped going to church, and I was still going. I was like the lead singer and piano player in the Fleetwood Mac-ish church worship band. Man,
That's
I was
fun.
in it, but I was also so horny. Is there anyone hornier than I feel like church kids?
Yes,
Only
no.
theater kids.
Oh,
Yeah. They're neck and neck.
So I was always getting caught at church camp, sneaking out and making out with people in the higher ups who were like, come on, you're a leader. You have to do better. I was like, I'm literally so horny. And I was always torn. You know, I get my first hand job at a bar mitzvah.
that's really nice.
Yeah. That's nice.
The-
Out
It just,
behind
like,
the temple.
Oh my
It's just, like, pictured-
God.
what was the theme of the bar mitzvah?
I think it was like race cars.
What?
You want to know something crazy? Is that guy, I won't say his full name, became a rabbi.
Oh,
Wow.
So is that a good thing or a bad thing?
He was so inspired. Like, it was such a nice
He
day
kept
for
coming
him.
back to the
yeah.
temple.
He was like,
saw
temple's
that.
one of the best
But
places.
I grew up
Yeah.
around a lot of Christian and like those mega churches.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
And I
yeah.
got taken to church a lot, and I just, you know, I didn't grow up religious, so it was always like a shock to me how into it the
Same.
kids
Yeah.
were.
I thought
And that
everybody
people
was.
would be like closing their eyes, and I would be like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I always had to go to church with my very Catholic grandparents on both sides, and like my parents were so not religious, and so I thought everybody was doing it like I was doing it, which is
Yeah.
like once or twice a year you have to go with
Yeah,
grandma, and
yeah,
it sucks,
yeah.
and we all agree it sucks,
Yeah.
and like your parents are in the background being like,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
know it
yeah.
sucks, sorry.
Yeah.
You're an offering.
Yeah.
And so then when I would go with other people and they'd be like, oh yeah, I love this. I was like, Oh my God, I did not know that was an option. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and I had like very close friends growing up that were like, like we love you, like you're going to hell, but like we love you. I'm like, what?
Yes.
Yeah, same.
Well, that's nice that they still loved you.
Yeah, they still love me.
Because they
still let me jump on their trampoline, but they were like, you will be going to hell.
Neighbors, they wouldn't let me jump on their trampoline because I was going to hell.
What?
No, they wouldn't. They would not.
The trampoline was a no-go zone?
It was a no-go.
Okay, see, who I'm thinking of, they were these, I'm not going to say these really sweet girls, and they had the most fun backyard. They had like pigs and horses, and they had a trampoline. And I just thought that they were so generous with all of their like toys and all their fun things. Whoa. And I think it was because they were like, well, she's going to hell, so she should get to enjoy.
They were kind of trying to save you through trampoline fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd be jumping on the trampoline and then they'd be like, have you ever thought of taking Jesus Christ into your heart?
I'm going to jump on you up into heaven.
Yeah.
So when I got pregnant at 16, I was super in denial. Oy vey.
Oh boy.
I missed my first couple periods and I was in my photography class in school Googling signs of being pregnant.
Oh no.
But I'd taken a plan B, so I was just like, there's no way. Having the upbringing I had, abortion felt scary and not like an option I really had. Oof. We should be thankful for our moms. You know?
Oh my God, so thankful.
Now that I'm an adult, I'm always preaching the good word about abortion to everyone because I love my kids so much, but I wish I'd had better information, so I had the baby.
Wow.
So real. Okay, so did you and Sunny ever have sex again after getting pregnant?
God, yeah. I mean, we broke up and got back together so many times. We actually had good sex. I don't know if this is problematic, but when I was younger, I always dated people with massive dicks.
Oh, just wait.
I don't like a huge dick. I'm a small person.
No,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
We've said this before, I think, but some dicks, it's like that's a full-time job. That is actually not my thing to deal with.
Yeah, I actually have to go home now.
And he did have a huge dick. He was like 5'6" and had a huge dick. So did the blowjob brother.
Blowjob brothers? Like Property Brothers, but blowjob brothers.
Blowjob brothers.
Short guys with massive hogs. But in the last 3 years, that's the title of my next novel, Short Guys with Massive Hogs. That's the title of my memoir. But in the last 3 years, I've seen the smallest dicks of my whole life for some reason. I haven't seen a big dick or even just an average sized dick in so long. Microplastics, maybe. I've only seen what I can describe as micropenises. I started dating a guy who was 6'6", and I was like, okay, he's going to have a hog. He pulled his dick out, and I was like, you're kidding. It was like 3 inches long.
Oh, no.
3 or 4 years, Sawyer hasn't seen a big or even average sized dick. If you know Sawyer.
Sawyer is taking a journey.
Yeah.
Damn.
Also, though, at the beginning, when Sawyer was like, I don't know that I really want to date cis men anymore, I'm like, maybe you've been maybe this is playing into it a little bit.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
But I do agree, a massive dick is kind of too much.
I don't think I care that much about the size of the dick.
I don't either. I really don't.
I think
really
anything is
don't.
workable. It's just a huge dick is much more work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen a teeny.
I haven't either, but I'm also just like
teeny. That's so sweet for it. Oh, you have a teeny.
Oh, a teeny.
I mean, I assume when you see one, it would be like a shock to the system.
I'm
and
sure.
I've never seen a dick. I mean, okay, actually, I have a friend who just lost her virginity at 35. Not for religious reasons. She had like a kooky childhood.
Okay.
I'm using kooky as like an umbrella term.
Kooky.
And she asked me, she was like, how many dicks do you think I need to see till I've seen the right amount of dicks?
8.
8, really?
7 or 8.
I was like losing sleep over this. I was like tossing and turning.
Yeah, 7
once
or 8.
you've seen like 4, you've seen most of them.
Yeah,
and then I think
true.
once you've seen 7, you've seen them all.
I think 7.
That's true.
I think 7.
7 is a good one. Yeah.
I've seen 30. Wish I saw 7.
That's like a nice average.
Yeah.
I get the concept.
Yes.
Yeah. And then there's usually a wild card in there after that.
I do think it's like also like, what do you see first, circumcised or uncircumcised, or what do you see more of? Because like in Missouri, everybody's circumcised, like everybody.
Yeah,
and then
I've seen very few uncircumcised.
Exactly, but I think if you you go to Europe for a month or something, and you're like, okay, now I've seen it all, and then you're kind of done.
After 7-ish, it's like you're not gonna see a dick do something new.
No,
you're not gonna see a dick be like an umbrella.
No, you're not going to see a new trick that they are like,
you're not going to see anything that's like, oh, I've never seen this before.
Wild.
You're only going to see something gross.
Yeah, the new surprises are
interesting.
Going to be great.
Yeah, they're not going to be great.
I like your curiosity. You're like, you're going to see something interesting.
You will, because every now and then it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's going like a different way than I thought. But like,
You mean literally?
Yes.
Sometimes they're on a journey.
Yeah. But I like that you're approaching it. I try to approach life with curiosity, and I think you have to approach dicks with like a lot of curiosity.
And like kind of compassion, because it's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And
totally.
I every single time.
Same with vagines, you know?
Oh,
Sorry, I call them
yeah.
vagines.
No, that's beautiful.
You know, I love the Korean
Yeah.
spa, and I'm like, trying not to stare at everyone's vagina, but it's like interesting to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me get in there.
That is actually
What's going on?
the reason I won't go to a Korean spa is because I'm just like, I don't mind seeing you naked and I don't mind you seeing me naked. It's that I don't know where to look and I feel like a pervert.
See, and I feel
looking
like
up a lot.
a good friend of mine, I need to see both sets of lips for us to really be.
I've seen all my friends'
yeah.
vaginas.
Yes.
Yeah. One time,
Yes.
Yeah.
I so love being naked, and I so love being at the Korean. I wrote half my novel in the Korean spa.
Oh, lovely.
I'm like in the jacuzzi, and the water's like melting, you know, melting
The
my
papers
pages.
are- you're like,
yeah,
oh, sorry, excuse me. It's like
I forget that I'm naked. I forget everybody else is naked.
Yeah.
Okay, so how were your parents about the pregnancy situation, Sawyer?
They were actually super supportive. That's kind of surprising.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah.
My mom was actually the person who came to me and was like, "Excuse me, you've been a raging bitch, and I noticed you haven't gotten your period."
Oh, wow.
So that's really kind of
Amazing.
paying close attention. She's a nurse, so she brought me an at-home test, and I broke down and told her everything I'd been Googling, and she was like, "We'll deal with it together. Don't worry. Whatever it is, whatever you decide, I'll support you."
Oh, wow. That's nice.
She was great. I still wish I had more access to information about abortion, but everything worked out the way it was supposed to. I love having a daughter, but it also made building a career and buying a house and all the things I've accomplished so much harder than they needed to be. I'm so impressed that they are 33 and own a house.
I know.
Seriously.
Right?
Seriously. Kid, but they own a house?
Yes.
Damn.
I know, Sawyer.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happened with you and Sunny?
To the surprise of no one, Sunny was not equipped to be a parent. At
Yeah.
first, we tried to stay together. We moved into a house together, and it was a nightmare. He was partying all the time, and I had to go back to work, and my daughter was in daycare. I was poor constantly, and he was slipping into substance abuse problems. He became controlling and emotionally abusive. Ooh, this is so like teen mom coded.
It
Oh
is.
my God.
Yeah.
Despite all that, I went to my guidance counselors because it was super important to me to finish school. What like grit and determination.
Yeah.
I had been a good student. I attended a lot of my junior year pregnant, and then I took classes over the summer. I was working full time. And then on my days off, I'd go to the public library because I didn't have internet at my house. My daughter was born right at the start of senior year, and I had 2 credits left, which I did at night and got to graduate with my class.
Isn't that incredible?
Yes.
Hell yeah, Sawyer.
I'm so curious how the other students treated Sawyer. Like
Yes.
that, I didn't have any pregnant
There were
students at my high
a
school.
couple
Yeah.
pregnant girls in my high school, but I was not like we had a big enough
Same.
class,
Yeah.
and like I feel like for a lot of people, you just stop attending
Yes.
at a certain
Yeah.
point. So
Yeah.
I kind of tried to ask about that a little bit, but then Sawyer was telling me all about like their graduation process and all the night classes and working full time while doing that, and I was like, how like how do you? Like you said, so much grit, so much determination, like such a cool thing to be like, I'm going to graduate on time.
Wow.
Like,
thank God that their parents were supportive too.
Yeah,
Because without
yeah.
that support, I don't know.
totally.
That would be so difficult.
And you're losing, like, you have to imagine that they're losing so much, like, church community because they're still
Oh,
involved
yeah.
with the church.
stuff.
And
Yeah.
Like, it sucks because then also the church people that are like, there's consequences. Yeah, are
Yeah.
right. And it's like,
Yes.
oh,
Yes.
Makes me wonder too if you have like weird feelings about sex for the rest of your life because the first time you did it, you had the ultimate.
Yes.
That's why I
I'd be
asked about
fearful.
if they still fuck
Yeah,
Sunny because I was
yeah.
like, if I got pregnant the first time, there would not be another time.
But I guess
No.
once you're pregnant,
Oh
you're
my
like,
God, no.
well, the worst happened.
Yeah,
So
so
now I guess I just go to town.
yeah, I
Yeah.
guess you have like a 10-month freebie on
Yeah.
that one.
Oh,
God, I
man.
had such bad sex for like the first 5 years I was having sex.
Oh, yeah.
Same,
Yeah,
same.
definitely.
The first time I had like great sex, I remember being like,
I didn't have great sex till I was like in love, which wasn't until
Yeah.
after college.
I didn't
In
have.
high school and college, I was like dating guys who didn't care if I lived or died.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so now we're gonna get into Sawyer's worst ex. Sawyer, who is your worst ex?
It should be Sunny because he's terrible, but it was a long time ago when we were kids. Not giving him a pass. He's still a piece of trash and not a present father. But my worst ex is Andy because he became a 10-year situationship.
No.
10 years?
We met in high school. My friend, the blowjob brother friend.
The girl who was.
Oh,
Also,
okay.
Sorry, okay. Ended up dating a guy who was friends with Andy. This friend is always getting Sawyer into kooky,
Shenanigans, yeah.
He was popular and had flippy hair, and I thought he was so hot, but I wasn't cool.
Yeah.
Flippy hair
hair
is so real.
Yeah. in high
So
school,
real. Oh
yes,
my
flippy
God.
hair.
Mine was
Ugh.
guys who had that, like, had been too much in chlorine, and they had that kind of like
Oh, like
straw-like
surfer-y.
texture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
surfer.
Yes, I
Yes.
know
You
exactly what
know.
you mean. There is something
I
hot
grew up
about
in Orange County. I'm just like so
No, I would have wanted that. That would have been my ideal.
Yeah.
But mine was flippy hair in
Flippy
Utah.
hair.
Yeah.
Flippy hair in Utah makes sense.
Oh, flippy hair.
We
big
didn't really
time.
have the chlorine hair
No.
option in Missouri. We did have flippy hair.
Yeah.
Flippy hair.
Flippy hair was great.
Flippy.
Yeah. I'm impressed that Sawyer, they met in high school. Like Sawyer's still like getting it in, even with a kid, like in high school.
I know.
That's the craziest part
I'd be
to me.
so scared.
Like Sawyer's got a full-time job. Sawyer's finishing high school. Sawyer's getting laid. Like,
I know.
They've got many jobs.
Busy.
Yeah,
It's just like when people talk about like some people have more hours in the day.
Yeah.
Like I need like a lot of sleep, like a dog.
Yes.
I'm just like, I don't have, that many hours in the day that other people have.
I need to lay down.
Yeah, I gotta lay down. Exactly.
When people are like, oh, Beyonce has the same 24 hours, I'm like, no, they
I'm
don't.
like,
but
no.
like Sawyer also has the same 24 hours as Beyonce.
Yes.
At one point when my daughter was a baby, Sonny and I broke up because he'd been cheating on me a lot. And I was like, I feel a slut phase coming on. I need to cleanse the palate. I need to start fucking people. A friend was like, remember Andy? And gave me his number and we started talking. It pretty quickly developed into a sex thing.
Fair.
We met up and he revealed that he remembered me from high school. It had been like 3 or 4 years since then, and I didn't think he had noticed me. It started out with just hooking up and sexting. We just had amazing chemistry, and when you hook up with someone long enough, you get to know them. We became friends, but he was always shitty about it. Like after we'd hook up, he'd be like, we should actually hang out sometime. I'd agree, and then he'd text me back the day we were supposed to hang out.
Then he'd
not text me back the day we were supposed to hang out. One night, I revealed I had feelings for him and he just stopped talking to me the next day. But he'd always pop back up and start texting me again. The way they pop back up.
Oh, they always pop back.
So this is part of the worst ex story, but it's going to get more complex.
Okay.
So we're going to move into the next section called Cheater Cheater. But don't worry, it will still involve Andy.
Okay.
Have you ever cheated or been cheated on?
So Sonny and I broke up and got back together a million times. Each time I'd find out he cheated again, so I started to take our monogamy less seriously. Even though our relationship was toxic, we had really good sex. Sometimes toxicity and good sex seem to go together for people.
Hand in hand. Yeah.
We were both freaky. And we communicated well. Like I have friends who didn't have an orgasm until they were in their 30s, and I was having orgasms as a teenager.
Wow.
People complain about car sex, but the angle is good. Have a guy sit up in the backseat and ride.
Sawyer said this specifically because I've never had car sex before, and so many people have always been like, it's not worth it, don't. But Sawyer was like, now hang on, I'm going to blow the whistle and tell you it's great. So
yeah, I don't think it's horrendous. I do think, imagining it now, my knees, that sounds horrible. Horrible.
I think it's more fun when you do it if it just feels so urgent.
Yeah,
Like, that's the fun part, not the car.
No.
That's, I guess, the problem with like trying to, people have been like, oh, you could go have sex in a car now. I'm like,
what do you, with your boyfriend, you're going to be like, okay, let's
go
go
to
to
the
the
garage.
car. Let's
In
put
the
a
garage.
blanket.
Yeah,
Go to
yeah.
the garage.
Like, it's going to get hot.
that's so funny.
You
to have-
could. It's like Titanic.
That is kind
It'd
of,
be like
wow. Yeah, wow.
You could do that.
I should bring like a humidifier in with me so it gets fogged up.
Yeah.
Your boyfriend's like, what the fuck
What
are
the
you doing?
Why
You
is
do
it
the hand.
swampy in here?
Yeah.
Like, draw me like one of your car girls.
Yeah. He's like, oh.
At one point, I was back with Sonny, but it was going really badly. He was doing a lot of drugs and cheating. So I got to a point where I was like, I'm just going to do something secretly too. So I started fucking Andy again, among many other people. Andy had a long-term girlfriend too, Beth, who did not deserve any of this. Poor Beth.
Oh, Lord.
That is what I said.
Oh,
Lord.
Oh, my God.
That's so funny.
We were around each other too much.
Yeah.
Andy was going to leave and join the army. So we knew there wasn't going to be a relationship, but we texted all the time and sometimes we'd meet up and fuck. For a while, it was a functional situationship. One day we were on the phone and he was like, I'm probably going to marry Beth, unfortunately. But one day, who knows? I always thought it could be you. Instead, I'm probably going to marry this dumb bitch and hate the rest of my life. That's a direct quote.
He said that?
He was on the phone with Sawyer and was like, I'm probably going to marry this dumb bitch and hate the rest of my life. And Sawyer knew about Beth. Like, Sawyer knew what was going on.
Yeah.
Did Beth know about Sawyer?
Not at that point, no.
Oh, jeez.
But just wait. Andy and
Okay.
I kept talking, and then a few months before they got married, she made him block me on everything. Beth sent me a really nasty message on Facebook calling me a slut and all kinds of stuff. It was from Andy's account, but it was her. I was like, that's a bummer. But also I was pissed at him because he was willing to drop a friend of a couple of years. And yeah, we were being inappropriate. It was complicated.
Yeah.
This is one of the few points where I'm so sorry, Sawyer, but I am going to have to do a little bit of a whistle because, like, you do have to drop a friend if they're the person you're also fucking outside of your relationship.
Sure.
I'm so sorry, but if you are going to have a good marriage with Beth, you do need to
gotta drop
the friend.
And I'm a person who likes being friends with my exes, but it's like that's not just
that's
an
when we
ex.
gotta let go.
That's your side piece. Unfortunately, that is the person you were having an affair with. So it was so hard for me to keep track of how old everybody was because Sawyer had kids so young. They're all only like 21 at this point.
Yeah.
So
and
it's
how
also
dumb. I mean, I like cheated on boyfriends in my younger, and I have such guilt over it. And of course, it was like I was messed up. Like I was in a bad place. I don't think most people who are cheating or being the other person are in a good place or like healthy.
You're not doing it because you're like, I'm doing so well and I'd love to harm someone.
Right. You're in a bad.
You're in a bad way.
I mean, also, like for Sawyer, like Sonny's been cheating on them nonstop, isn't a present father, is doing a bunch of drugs, and like you're looking for anybody who's treating you without like an ounce of kindness, basically. Like, so
that's so hard. It's so hard too. Like looking back, I definitely would have ended up staying with a guy who's like said that about the person they're dating. Like I would, if you have to be in a bad place, like you said, you know, to be like, okay, this guy just called his future wife a dumb bitch. And like he's gonna hate his life, but whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
or you're like,
I can't imagine that now, but
but like I feel like there's things like that where you feel bad about it for like 2 days, and then you're just like, well, I guess I don't know.
Yeah, and then you move on.
Like to be 21. I mean,
21.
I teach college students sometimes. I was at LMU last semester, and I just am looking at them, and some of them have such maturity, and then some of them I'm like, I can't. It feels so long ago that I was this age.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And other times I'm like, they say smarter shit than like they're so much more on top of stuff than I am. And
it's such a wild
times
time.
the opposite.
It is.
Yeah.
My littlest sister just turned 21, and I like this month, and I'm like, I can't believe that you are not a baby, but also like that sometimes you'll say things that I'm like, how do you what?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And it's crazy that we were that way too.
Yes.
Yeah. Like that's the craziest part.
But
like,
when you were 21, you didn't think of yourself as young.
No.
Like you thought of yourself as like, I didn't. I was like, I'm an adult woman.
Oh, really? I thought of myself as being like, this is so embarrassing because I know better than 20. Like I felt like I can feel myself being too young to think these things. Like
to do these things.
Like I felt like I didn't feel young. I just was like, oh, I'm not a full adult. And a full adult is probably looking down on me being like, you're an idiot.
Wow. So mature.
Yeah, I know.
I think I was like, yeah, I'm old.
I've never felt like that. I don't think I've ever felt that like invincibility of youth of like, I'm smart and cool and making good decisions. I was always like, it's very obvious to everybody where I'm at in my life. Like
I was somebody who always wanted to be, I mean, I think it's that thing about wanting to live alone. Like I wanted to be an adult woman. Like when I had roommates in college, when I had roommates after college, I was just like, I can't wait till my life is my own, my time is my own. It's probably just codependence and always feel like, you know.
Yeah.
So if you met my parents, he'd be like, okay, yeah. Larry Silverberg, we get it. He's talking. he's opening he's knocking on the door and opening it before you say anything, you know? So I think there's that too of just like, I always wanted to be like an adult woman whose life is her own. And it took me a really long time to feel that way. Even now, sometimes I have to remind myself I'm an adult woman who makes her own money, who has a credit card and a car. Like, because I still get trapped sometimes where I feel obligated to things or people.
Me too.
Or
I went into a business meeting the other day and I had this feeling of like, oh, they all are not going to take me seriously on this call because I'm such a young child. And then I had this moment where I was like, you are the same age as all of them.
Right.
You are not a little baby.
Or even if they are older than you, like you are worthy.
I'm an adult. Like I'm a full adult. I'm not going to become more of an adult. Like I'm going to get older, but like this is just as much of an adult.
No,
we're here.
Like a party sometimes I'll be like, am I allowed to leave? And it's like, of course I know. I can get up and leave.
Yes.
All right. So Sawyer ended the last sentence talking about the Facebook blocking and ending things with Andy.
Classic.
And said it's complicated. So complicated how?
A few months later, and I was still with Sonny at this point. Sonny really stuck around for a long time.
Yeah.
I guess the father of your kid, you know.
Yeah.
I noticed that Andy had unblocked me. He had moved to Tennessee for the Army, and I messaged him like, I notice I'm not blocked. Hope everything's going well in your life. He was like, my God, I've missed you so much. Things are going bad.
Real.
We were both commiserating over being in bad relationships. I don't think either of us intended for it to be an affair, but it did devolve into that. We were talking all the time, and then he got deployed to Afghanistan. The whole time he was deployed, he was promising me that he was going to divorce Beth when he got back.
Oh, jeez.
Here
we go.
Oh, brother is what I said.
Yeah, it's okay.
Looking back, I'm not proud of this, but at the time it seemed very reasonable. I was probably about 21. He didn't have cell service, but he was emailing me all the time from Afghanistan, like good morning emails. When he came back to the States, he called me from the airport and was like, I love you. Oh. Beth found out everything about the affair and she's leaving. We're done. I want you to move out here. I was like, I'm not moving, but why don't I come visit and see what happens?
Oh, geez.
I appreciate about Sawyer that in this retelling to you that they don't seem to be pulling any punches, like trying to make themselves sound better. Or maybe that's part of the anonymity of it. But I think so often, like I do this in therapy sometimes of like, I'll say something, then I'll be like, I made myself sound too good. Like, let me say the real thing.
Yes. Yeah. I know. When you tell a story and you're like, I'm being very selective with like the passive voice here.
Right,
like,
exactly. Or when you hear a friend retell a story about like a breakup, you're like, huh.
I know. I'd love to hear from the other person too.
Or like, that's the way you're explaining it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sometimes your friends tell things and you're like, I love you, and that is not how that went.
Yeah. Right. I can see where you're putting some butter on it.
I know a few more details.
Yeah.
But fun. Okay, so how was the visit?
After that phone call, our contact significantly decreased, which was weird because you think we'd be talking more than when he was in Afghanistan. I started getting suspicious, but I still went on the trip. We were still talking a little bit, and he'd say things about picking me up at the airport. He was like, I can't wait to kiss you. When he picked me up, he was with his roommate and another girl. He gave me an awkward side hug, and she was shooting me daggers. I was like, I bet he's dating this person. The entire trip, they're fighting with each other. We all went out to dinner, and I just decided to get drunk because I didn't know what else to do.
Yeah, real. The most real thing that anyone has ever said. Sawyer was so right for saying that.
Been there, yeah.
At one point, Andy's roommate and I are sitting in the car while Andy and this woman are fighting outside the car. And I just asked the roommate, are they dating? And he was like, So I knew. I was like, why was I even invited to come here?
Yeah.
This is insane. Why would anyone do this?
So did you leave?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
When we got back to Andy's house, there was a party and he'd invited a ton of his friends over. Andy's wild, dude. Yeah. I was like, I'm just going to party. I had so much fun. Okay, appreciate that.
Yeah,
Sawyer,
that's good.
They're so cool. They're so cool.
I'm not a good compartmentalizer. I could not have like had fun.
I would have been in the corner just like,
yes, also I wouldn't have been able to sleep. I would have gotten on a plane and come home.
Yes, same, yes.
Oh, I wouldn't have. I would have Sawyered it. I would have. Yeah, I'd be anxious as fuck and get so blackout drunk.
Kelsey is so good at what we've called getting in the zone. Like Kelsey can get in the zone very well.
I'm just like, this is crazy and fucked up, but guess what? I'm in the zone.
So you're like a pretty good compartmentalizer.
Major.
Okay. Like very good at it.
Wouldn't say it's healthy, but I'm doing it.
I can do it in like a workplace or something like that, but I think it's really hard for me to have fun. Like I can be professional, polite, but I can't get to fun.
Yeah.
Like that is not achievable for me.
Yeah.
Okay. I can. I put the trauma in the little filing cabinet and I'm like, well, here we are.
I'll open it maybe another year.
Yeah, in a while.
Oh, that's so funny.
Sawyer says I had so much fun. His friends and I were having the best time. They were all like, oh my God, we love you. Like they were getting my Instagram and we were exchanging numbers.
Oh my God.
Sawyer being the life of the party.
Meanwhile, Andy is fighting with his girlfriend and watching me party with all his friends. Finally, he's like, can we talk outside? I was like, sure. He told me that he wasn't dating her. I was like, I don't even care. Let's go back inside and party. So we did, and the girl got pissed and left, and he told me he loved me that night, which was kind of crazy.
Yeah, kind of.
We didn't sleep together that night, which I thought was weird.
I don't. I mean, I think it's weird to say I love you at that point, but I'm also just like, Sawyer, thank God that you didn't sleep together.
I mean, thank God, but that is weird.
It is. Like, thank God.
Sleep together.
Just sleep together.
Thank God, but do it.
But do it.
Yeah.
We only slept together like twice the whole trip. But after she left, he kind of friend-zoned me, which was confusing. The whole trip was so confusing. One night, he leaves his house and straight up lies, saying he's going to pick up a friend, but he never comes back. So I knew he was with her. This Andy's got a lot of time on his hands for juggling.
Yeah, and how long was this trip?
I think like a week or so.
My God.
Because there's multiple nights that Sawyer was like, oh, we only slept together a couple times. And then he goes out and, way too long. Way too long.
3 days max. If you're at first time trip meeting someone, 3 days.
That's a really good rule.
2 nights, 3 days.
That's a really good rule.
But they'd known each other for a long time.
Yeah, they've been friends and they've hooked up and they've even I mean, they,
You know those emails from Afghanistan where like
those classic emails.
But literally, he was emailing her every day from Afghanistan.
So
Good morning email from Afghanistan's nuts.
He's like, well, it's hot.
Again.
We're in a pointless war. I don't know if you knew that at that time. But.
The poppy fields here are crazy. The U.S. Army is acting as a cartel.
Man.
Just kidding. So at this time that all of this is happening, he's still married to Beth, right?
Yes. Oh my God. Where's Beth?
Yeah, where the fuck is Beth?
Exactly.
Okay.
I have no answers on where Beth is. I do know that he's home from Afghanistan, and I know that Beth had found out about the cheating. So I wonder if Beth
maybe she's just
was
away
like,
with her parents.
maybe at her parents' house or something, and was like, I'm out of here.
Oh my God.
Ding dong.
Okay.
Okay, so what happens when you leave this trip?
I was so distraught from this whole trip. He's fully in a relationship with her, but he could never admit that to me. This is a classic. This guy wants not just his cake and to eat it too. He wants like 55 cakes.
Yeah.
Like he wants like a bakery.
Yeah. He wants out in the bakery.
And I get back home and he's trying to come visit me because I live near our hometown and he's leaving me voicemails saying how much he misses me. And I was like, no. Glad they put their foot down.
Thank God.
Thank you, Sawyer. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
But this is year 3 of you guys. So what happened?
I stopped talking to Andy, and for 4 years I dated another guy. I don't know if this guy was asexual, but sex was always a point of contention between us. I mean, I say this with all due respect. Sawyer seems like a really horny person.
Yeah.
So this person might have just had a normal.
By comparison, just been like, And they're like,
and then Sawyer's like, what are you,
She's
asexual?
like,
Yeah.
Andy would always message me like, Merry Christmas, Happy Easter after like 3 years.
Easter text is the horniest thing of all time.
Yeah.
Easter's crazy.
Yes, Easter's
It's
crazy.
like, Happy Labor Day. What are you wearing?
Arbor Day's so nuts around here.
Yeah.
Support our veterans, support our troops. I miss you.
Yeah.
After like 3 years, a mutual friend of Andy and mine committed suicide, and I was so upset about it, and I started reconnecting with friends from that part of my life. Damn. I was in a really vulnerable place, and I reached out because I needed to talk to someone about our friend. I was like, I hope you're doing okay. I'm doing bad. I didn't expect to keep talking after that because his response was really short and he couldn't come to the funeral. But then weeks later, he started messaging me again, and I was like, what the hell? So that reopened everything. This guy's like one of those zombies that won't die. It's like an M. Night Shyamalan movie where he keeps like popping out.
Yes.
I think it's also so relatable to have a person that you're grieving from a certain part of your life and want to connect with the people from that time.
Yeah.
And like that's such an easy way to see the door reopening. Like I do, like I have so much empathy for that, to be like, oh, this is like something where I want people that know this person to like grieve with me.
And nobody else will know that person in the way you knew them.
Yes.
Other than people who are from that time.
Yeah. So I think that's like so...
It's so real
and relatable, and like...
I would have done the same thing.
Yeah. I think it's so easy to be like, yes, like I want to talk to these people. I need to talk to these people to process this.
Really? Yeah.
And then unfortunately one of those people is Andy.
Fucking Andy.
Okay, but you were still dating the possibly asexual guy at the time, right?
Yeah, we were wrapping it up. It needed to end. We spent years trying to resolve the issues around sex. It didn't start off as an affair with Andy. It wasn't sexual in any way.
No.
We just have an undeniable chemistry.
Oh,
On Thanksgiving, we were both back in our hometown. A lot of hookups from high school around Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
His parents lived next door to my best friend's parents, so he was like, why don't you come over here? So I did, and he ate me out on the couch. I hadn't been touched in so long. I came in 30 seconds. He must have been pretty good. I don't think I've
but
ever
also asexual guy. You know, you're like, I haven't been touched in so long, and then it's like, all right.
Okay, Andy's back.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever come in 30 seconds.
30 seconds is crazy
That's
work.
wild. That is a record.
And he was like, I've changed. I want to be with you. Do we believe that?
No.
I didn't break up with my partner because I thought Andy and I were going to be together or anything. It already needed to end.
So Andy ate you out on the couch before the breakup or after the breakup?
Before, unfortunately.
Oh, Lord.
Sometimes you come in 30 seconds and you're like, I got to go run an errand, and it's breaking up with my asexual boyfriend.
Yeah, sometimes it happens so fast.
It happens so fast.
It came so fast. I don't know. I didn't have time to tell you.
I kind of slipped and fell onto the couch and then came, and then now I have to go break up.
Yeah.
4 years. Sawyer wants to get it in, get laid.
Yeah, but also like 4 years of having the same big problem, which is like a massive incompatibility, is like, that's a lot.
You know what they say about sex, like couples therapists, is that like, it's, if sex is good in a relationship, then it's a very tiny percentage of the relationship. But if it's bad, it's huge.
Oh,
that's such a...
And it's like often a barometer of like the whole rest of the relationship.
Oh, yeah.
I also think there's like a certain window of incompatibility sexually that is like very tolerable, if
Sure.
not like you might
Like
not
he
be.
likes it in the morning. I'm too sleepy.
Yeah,
like that kind of thing.
there's certain aspects of it, or like I would have it 5 times a week and she would have it 3 or whatever.
Right.
Like
Mhm.
there's ways to like meet in the middle or be like, this isn't perfect, but like we love each other and everything's great otherwise and whatever.
Yeah.
But
Like,
if
what are
you're
the chances that both people want it the exact same amount to the exact same? Yeah.
But also if
Yeah.
you're together long term, like somebody has a surgery or you take a medication or
Totally.
you like have a stressful
Yeah.
job or whatever,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a parent dies and then you're
Yeah.
like, I don't want sex for 6 months. Like
Right.
Yeah.
right.
all of that's gonna happen. But if you're on year 4 of we don't have sex,
Oh, Lord.
Right.
Yeah.
you gotta get out of
No,
there.
that's what I
Yeah.
also say to people who, when they're early on in the relationship and the sex isn't good, I'm like, uh-oh.
It's gonna
Yeah.
Or
you-
early
I don't
on and
know.
fighting a lot. I'm like, you should be in
Yeah.
honeymoon period. You should
Yes.
both be having a lot of sex and not fighting.
Yes.
The person you're with
yes.
should make your life easier.
Yeah.
100%.
But a lot of people
such
are with
a-
people that
it's-
I'm like, this person is an albatross around the neck of your life.
Yes, yes. But then
Weighing
they
you
stay
down.
with them.
I
I'm like,
know,
no,
I
it's such a learning
know.
process.
I know.
Yeah.
So, and it's so much
Takes
easier when you're
years.
outside of it.
Yes.
Oh, when you're outside, you're
100%.
like, ooh,
oh,
cancel
I
yes,
see the
yes.
issue. Get out, get out.
Yes,
No, no.
yes.
Yep.
Okay, so did you and Andy ever officially date?
No, we tried to see each other for a bit, but long distance. He'd come home for holidays and stay at my house for days. But I got to a point where I was like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Are we in a relationship or not? And he was like, I can't. So we hooked up one last time and I was like, I don't want to be in a relationship with you, but I can't keep being told this is just a friendship when it's obviously not. We're not going to be together. We have to stop.
Thank
God.
God.
Thank God.
I'd love a video of the two of them having sex. Seems like the chemistry
am
was kind
interested
of
in
like
the
out of this
chemistry.
world.
I have to say, I want to know what he looks like. I'm like, what are we working with here?
I mean,
like what?
right.
They've cheated on multiple partners with Andy. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
their chemistry is amazing.
Yeah.
But you know what that is too? It's like, I feel like sometimes that is like a portal just to get out of your life.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Like a person or someone you text. It's like,
yes.
or people who constantly like love to text an ex. It's like, that's your coping mechanism.
Yep.
Like your portal.
yeah.
I think in a lot of ways it just feels like either a safety net or a reminder that there are these like happy, fun emotions that you're not having,
Yes,
and you're
yes,
like, oh
yes.
yeah,
You're like,
yeah,
I could be
yeah.
having
That could be
these.
my
I
life.
could be having
yeah.
fun. All right, now we're gonna get to the best sex Sawyer's ever had. Are you ready? What's the best sex you've ever had,
My
Sawyer?
long-term best friend, Ashley. Of course, it's a woman.
Wow.
Of course,
Oh.
it's their best friend.
So is this the Blowjob Brothers girl? Blowjob sister, if you will.
No, a different friend.
Oh.
She's the friend whose parents live next door to Andy's parents. I've had a lot of sex in that neighborhood.
Okay, here's where the butcher
Damn.
comes back up. They said, no, I've had sex in a butcher shop. And I was like, with the butcher. And Sawyer said, no, another guy from that neighborhood.
Okay.
Why in the butcher shop? Are we
Don't
getting
know.
to
I don't
that?
know if the butcher shop was in the neighborhood or not, but
Butcher shop's so quaint. I'm like, where did they live?
the candlestick maker next
Yes,
door
yes,
is also
the
like,
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, also some of them are small, but then in the back room you can kind of see through the window. I'm thinking of my hometown butcher.
and there's meat.
Snyder meat, shout out. Yeah, there's meat. There's meat everywhere.
I know, it doesn't
Meat
seem
City.
hot to me.
Yeah, it's
Like,
smelly.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of sex in that neighborhood.
Okay.
That's not the only other person I fucked on that street. I fucked 2 other people. Actually, the person I fucked in the butcher shop
There we go.
from that street.
I forgot that this was yeah. So
Okay.
But the first time I had sex with Ashley, because we had sex multiple times, was the best sex because it was the first queer sex where I was like, wow, there's something to this. I think that makes a lot of sense. I think those things can be pretty like revelatory.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
When you're like, what the hell?
yeah.
wow.
I think it was so good because we were so close. We had so much fun and had crazy chemistry. We were both so open to it. Something tells me though that Sawyer has chemistry with everyone.
Other than the asexual
Other
guy.
than the asexual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd known she was down because when she'd come visit me, she'd be like, when I come up tomorrow, we should cuddle. We always slept in the same bed. You could feel the sexual tension.
If your friend is saying like, "Hey, when I come up to visit, we should definitely cuddle," I do think that is
Sure.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can probably guess.
That's a way
you
of
know where it's
saying,
going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so had you had sex with women before that?
Yeah, I'd known I was bi since high school, but I didn't do anything with a woman until later. There was a girl I was friends with, and we were driving in the back roads of Maine. This sounds also like a great short story. Smoking
Yeah.
weed, and we'd pull over to the side of a road, and she shotgunned me, and then we started making out. Then I went down on her and made her come, and I was like, okay, I love that. Guess I'm gay.
Okay, love that.
All right.
Wait,
I'm
she
gay.
shotgunned me? What does that
Oh,
mean?
so like when you blow smoke in somebody's mouth,
Oh,
which
yeah,
I
yeah,
thought,
yeah,
my
yeah.
first thought was like shotgunning a drink.
I know, like, or yeah.
That sounds
okay.
sexy to me. I'm just so not a weed person. It makes me so paranoid. Anytime I smoke
I'm-
weed, I think people can hear my thoughts.
Same.
I don't like
I
it.
used
That is-
to not be that way, but I did shotgun a lot of people with
I've
weed.
never
back in the
shotgunned
day.
anybody.
Sexy.
Yeah, it's
Did
fun.
it lead to making out?
Probably with boyfriends, but I was doing it with everybody.
Oh, okay.
I just thought it was like a fun little trick.
I see how it led to making out though. Like
Yeah.
it seems like
That's like a sexy little scene.
yeah.
Like in Missouri.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's probably what people are doing. I am not. I can't smoke weed. It just doesn't
Oh my God,
feel like
no.
anything to me. But
Yeah, I feel like aliens are coming to get me and like
I
freak
my pulse
out.
is racing.
And I
And I
also
always
feel my
wanna-
posture.
I'm
like
like a drinker.
I'm a
I'd
drinker.
like
I'm a drinker.
I'll like a
through
glass
and
of
through.
wine, like a
Same.
martini.
Same.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So, what is the craziest situation you've ever been in, sex relationships wise, Sawyer?
I don't drink anymore, but one night I was partying with Ashley and I was pretty hammered. I used to be ashamed of this, but I was young and dumb. For so long, I joked that I had a crush on Ashley's dad. She hated it, but she would tease me about it. Anyway, that night when we ended up fucking later, her dad and I did share a kiss in the kitchen for some reason.
For some reason?
For some reason.
For
No
some
one knows.
reason.
What?
That is the only
Meanwhile,
question there.
my friends were constantly seeing my dad naked. No one was trying to kiss my dad.
Larry!
Girls would come in. He'd be like late at night at the fridge. He'd go, girls, don't come in here. Don't come in here.
Oh my
Because
God.
he'd be running to the
Like,
fridge naked.
oh,
and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
so
so
yeah.
crazy.
funny. Oh my
He'd be like,
god.
close your eyes. Close your eyes. No one was ever like, I gotta get my hands on Larry.
Larry.
That's
He looks like Larry David.
Yep. So my question was, what?
I was so drunk, and afterwards I was kind of spiraling with anxiety about it. No shit. But now I'm
Yeah.
kind of like, whatever. She still doesn't know. She's married now, and I don't think her husband knows she and I used to hook up.
That's awesome.
I think that
Oh.
dynamic is so
Couple
chic.
secrets,
I think
yeah.
that's so chic. Your best friend is the best sex you've ever had, and the night of the best sex you ever had, you also kissed their dad.
If I might
That's
pitch my debut
crazy.
novel,
Okay.
which Oprah Daily and W Magazine and many other publications said was a must read.
Yum,
Okay.
yum.
It's about a woman starts dating an older man, radio type TV,
Uh-huh.
I mean radio DJ type Howard Stern guy,
Mhm.
and then gets involved in a kind of love triangle with his daughter. You know, So I think this
there's
is
some
chic.
there's
I think
some
this is
thematic
really chic.
connections.
But of course,
Wow.
it's about inheritance and persona and grief and yada yada.
Yeah, of course.
There's a
Pitching
lot.
my own novel in the
No,
middle.
that's good.
I love
Making myself
it.
laugh. There's nothing worse than trying to explain your own writing,
As
right?
soon as a person is like, "What's your book about?" I'm like, "A potato
Yeah.
that is
yeah.
also a hippo."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, like good books, it's like the story is in the sentence. That's what I always say. It's like
That's what I should start saying to people when they say, "What's your
no
book
good
about?" I'll say,
book sounds good in a when you try to describe it.
"No. You're like two people are walking through a desert. Whatever. I don't know."
Yeah, come on.
All right. So now we're to the point where we're going to get a status update on Sawyer. Sawyer, what's your current situation, and are you happy?
I'm single and very happy with that. Felt like it's time to get a little single
Yeah.
single time.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to meeting someone and having something more long term, but I'm really prioritizing my kid right now. I just feel really content right now, and I've built such a good community in a way where if I started dating someone who didn't align, it would be really obvious right away. I just want to lean into having more queer sex. I've had a lot of queer sex, but often with women, it's more of a one-off or 2 or 3 off situation. And I think when you're with someone longer, you get more comfortable trying new things. And I definitely want to be strapping people more in 2026.
Whoa.
I love strapping.
Did we learn anything today? Did you like playing Sawyer?
Yeah, I did like playing Sawyer. I really appreciate Sawyer's openness to experience.
Yeah.
It's
And
Sawyer's
great.
fun.
horniness.
Yeah.
It is kind of great. It's like a nice celebration of being horny.
A lot of like honestly shitty experiences turned
Yes.
into seems like a great
Yes.
life and a good place
Yeah.
right now. Yeah.
I always like thinking too about how like long life is. Like I think life is
So,
long, and I say
yes.
that to myself as a way to comfort myself.
Same.
yeah.
That you can have so many revisions and so
Yes.
many. You
Yeah.
could be in a weird 10-year-long situationship with a guy named Andy, and then you can
Yeah.
leave it behind.
Yes.
Like there are a lot of you
Yes.
could get pregnant at 17. It's like there are a lot of revisions
Yes.
allowable
Yes, a
in
lot of
life,
stages
and a
of
lot of
life.
lives
Yes.
that you can lead.
Well, thank you so much for coming on.
This was so
Yeah.
fun.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you
thank
for doing it.
you.
Where can people find you?
People can find me at Amy Silverberg on Instagram, at Amy Silverberg Rules on TikTok, which I'm
Big
not
Jugs
that
Rule
active on. BigJugsRule@gmail.com. Feel free to email me your boobs or anything else. And my website, amysilverberg.com. But if you go to my Instagram, you can order a copy of my
I was going to
book
say, buy your book.
Yeah,
First time, long
yeah.
time.
through Hachette and at any bookstore. First time, long time. It's at every bookstore.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
If you're interested in us sharing your business anonymously on our next episode or just want to drop us a line, email us at noneofmybusinesspodcast@gmail.com. None of My Business is hosted by me, Sophia Benoit, and my co-host, Kelsey June Jensen. Our supervising producer is Justin Sales. Additional production by Sasha Ashal, Austin Gale, and Juliana Ress. Video editing and production by Kayla Talley. Social media support comes from Austin Gale, Kayla Talley, and Sasha Ashal. Special thanks go to Jonathan Ratliff, Hannah Lakin, John Richter, Belle Roman, and Alea Zaniris. Art direction by David Shoemaker. Motion design by Skull Closet Studio. Photography by Kyle Smithers. Hair by Issa Wilson. If you enjoyed today's show, like and subscribe, follow, or leave us a 5-star review. If you didn't like today's episode, well, that's none of our business.